So, based on what I'm hearing from you, it sounds like the topic of data migration is something that needs to be considered in every project, at the very least. In your experience, is that actually always the case? Do projects usually start thinking about it early enough and set up everything properly so that it can work? Or is that not really how it goes?
Yeah, I think the prevailing opinion in the industry, in the market, or however you want to put it, is that this topic generally gets addressed too late with too little attention and usually with too little budget. Um, I'd say that's kind of just the nature of the beast. Basically, when you set up a new SAP system, IT is mainly focused on getting the sales and purchasing processes up and running. You could maybe compare that, if we go back to the topic of moving, to wanting to paint a wall first. Yeah, you want to get something done where you can immediately see the results, where something's actually happening. You can run your processes end to end, but you don't want to deal with organizing the drawers just yet. Right. So, in many projects, the design isn't even finalized yet, and the customizing isn't that far along either. That's why the topic of migration often gets pushed to the back burner. That's something you should definitely avoid.
But to me, it sounds like even though you should avoid it, customers still don't avoid it very often. So, what are the practical consequences in the end? Because you mentioned budget restrictions. At some point, there's a deadline, at least one gets mentioned. I thought it was important to postpone the deadline. So, what does that actually mean in the end? And what does it mean when it comes to, heading toward go live or cutover? What does that mean in practice? And what are the challenges for you and your team?
Exactly. If we take the case of a classic greenfield implementation project, we'd say that if we haven't migrated the data, in the worst case, we can't go live. If we don't have master data in the system, for example, we can't create customer orders, which means we wouldn't have the chance to generate revenue, so we couldn't go live, period. Of course, that's the extreme case. I'd say that in practice, the things you neglect at the beginning of the project are really hard to catch up on later. And that usually comes at the expense of master data quality. You have the chance, as part of an S4 project like this, to really clean things up and improve the quality of your master data. Often, there are also field values that have just developed over time. For example, there are order types that aren't even used anymore these days, but were really important 5 or 10 years ago. Yeah, and those are the kinds of issues that suddenly become relevant again, and you have to deal with them. And in the course of that, there's simply the opportunity, or it's an incredible chance for any company to improve the quality of their master data, and as a result, to be able to work much, much better in terms of processes overall.
That reminds me of a saying, not mine, but it always comes to mind. No action without data. Then in the new system. You'd agree with that, right?
I agree, totally.
Okay. Yeah, then it's almost surprising that there are still quite a few customers who, despite knowing better, or since we're already talking about it, it doesn't seem like a brand new insight, still tackle it too late or not completely.
Yeah, that's just how project work is, right? There are countless tomes and books and collections of knowledge that talk about typical project management mistakes. In the end, you can just file them all in the same drawer again. There's simply recurring mistakes that people keep making over and over. But somehow, it's just the nature of the business.
Mhm.
And I would say that's really where our own personal commitment comes in, to do the necessary educational work, if I can call it that, for our clients. Drawing on the experience we've gained over the past years and the expertise of our team, we make a point of highlighting these issues early on, making them transparent, and supporting our clients so they can start addressing these topics in good time and give the attention they deserve.
We hope the video helped you. In case you got any additional questions or comments, please leave a message below. See you next time, your ADVIST Academy.